In this episode of the American Police State, we visit the policy enforcers for the circus that is Spokane and try to once more get them to enforce corporate policy. Here's a quick preview of what you're going to see. The American Police State, brought to you by Questionable Authority. Your freedom is an illusion. Good day to everyone out there, and thank you for joining me for this video. I don't have much to say about it. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I will tell you this happened immediately after my previous video where we were trying to get the Spokane County Sheriff's Office or the Spokane Police to take our report of a crime and evidence of that crime and open an investigation against Adam Swinyard, the superintendent of Spokane Public Schools. He has not filed his oath of office, and in doing so is in violation of RCW 28A.330.060, regulating the bond and oath of superintendents of schools in Washington. It's a gross misdemeanor if someone violates RCW 42.20.030, which is intrusion into and refusal to surrender public office. Regarding this situation, it states, "Every person who shall willfully exercise any of the functions or perform any of the duties of such officer without having duly qualified therefor, as required by law, shall be guilty of a gross misdemeanor." Of course, if you watched the previous video, you know they're 0 for 2 so far in helping us. If you didn't, a link to it and any of the sources I use is in the description, as well as the contact information for the Spokane Police Department in case you don't like what you see and want to redress the ruling class. In this video, we decided to take a different approach, and we told them we wanted to report a crime and decided to be more firm in getting them to take a report and start an investigation.
So you've been here before?
Not to this one, no.
It's 2 weeks. Hi. Hello.
Hey, we have a crime to report.
Do you have a crime report? Can we come in here to report it? Or?
Yeah.
All right.
A few moments later.
So the superintendent of Spokane Public Schools is supposed to have his oath of office filed with the Educational Services District building up on the South Hill. He doesn't have that filed, so he's supposed to have that before he takes office, as you can see by that RCW. So on the second page of that one there's an email from the district saying he doesn't have to have that oath, and we confirmed that with the office he's supposed to have it filed with yesterday. So it seems like he's, like on the back page of that first one, that there's a RCW there, like impersonating a public official. It seems like that's a crime. He's violating the law, so we're trying to figure out how we can remedy this. The Spokane County Sheriff's Department told us to come talk to you guys, so they said that they didn't have jurisdiction. Yeah, you guys did.
Because it's in the city. Yeah, it's a gross misdemeanor, right?
Yeah.
For him not to do that.
What's the charge?
Well, on the second page here, on the back of that, that's the gross misdemeanor. He didn't fulfill the duties of being in office.
So who's the victim?
What's that?
Who's the victim?
Well, the people of the state of Washington, just like a speeding ticket, the state of Washington is the victim, right? That's what the victim of every RCW is, right?
Well, so as a police officer, you're not taking thousands of reports, right?
Right.
Yeah.
From people. I mean, usually they're very straightforward, right?
Right, right.
So I don't know, this is probably gonna have to go some other route, you know?
Like not law enforcement?
Right.
What the hell did you just say?
So I don't know, this is probably gonna have to go some other route, you know?
Like not law enforcement?
Right.
I don't know, that's pretty straightforward.
I mean, that's like,
Either
It's a law.
a law of nation, we're a nation of laws, or lawlessness, right?
I mean, you
That's
guys are
how
law
RCW
enforcement.
stating that he has to have this, so there has to be an investigation opened up, because we can't do anything, we can't force anybody to do something. Where you guys have authority to investigate and find out if that's really a crime that's being committed, right? I mean, don't you have to open up a case file for that, to have an investigation?
Rick, have you ever heard the expression, the customer is always right?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, here I am, the customer.
that's not our policy.
Yeah, I'll get you back.
Yeah, that would be good. Thank you.
I'm sure you can understand. It's
No,
not
I
something-
get it. It's not something you see every day.
I did.
Okay, thank you. And then you should fill that out. Then I'll give you a case number.
What for like contacts or email or phone number?
Yeah, phone number, name, date of birth.
What do you need my date of birth for? Seems a little excessive.
Like I said, I'm taking thousands of reports.
No, it's
I
all
had an
right.
issue.
Well, I know, but I like.
So
the
what
privacy.
you want to open an investigation, you want to report this. So, like I said, we need a victim,
Yeah, just give me my name and number. There you go. And what else do you need? I mean, you can need theirs if they're going to be a victim too. If they're
you don't want to give me your information?
Well, what do you need my date of birth if I'm a victim? How does that help you? That's what I'm asking.
That's, again, the thousands
Is
of
there
reports.
a law that says I have to do that? That's what I'm asking. Because we're talking about laws. That's what we handle.
I'll do what I can.
I know you don't have to right now at this point. That's, you know, if I want to go to court and I want to be a witness and all that, then at that point I might have to give my date of birth to prove I'm Corey Christopherson. But at this point, you don't have any reason to believe otherwise, right?
He doesn't want to give his date of birth, so.
Okay, well, it's not that hard to get a police report from you if you don't provide us information.
So you have, in order to take a police report, you have to have my date of
Or
birth.
is, I mean, like, we are.
Yeah,
Yeah, people can
So
come in
if
here,
you're
I'm,
a citizen to
I'm,
a complaint, you're just
you know,
saying.
it makes
So you could be anonymous,
If it goes to the point where you guys are gonna say, yes, there's a valid complaint,
I'll do that.
then I'll be
So,
happy to give you
if
my
we
date
can't
of
find
birth.
a
Until
victim,
then, you don't need it.
we don't have a crime. Does that make sense? I
right.
mean, people report crimes all the time. We show up. Okay, we try to get the information.
So here-
Yeah. I don't.
And
Okay,
so
well,
here's the thing, you guys,
you think-
your department, not necessarily you two, you in the past, I've seen, you have proved untrustworthy, I've seen body cam of you, but the rest of, like, your department is already proven to be untrustworthy in dealing with. So, like, why would I just willfully hand out my private information when it isn't necessary yet?
So
That's my point.
There's my date.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to open up a,
Why do you need my date of birth to open up a
because it puts you
criminal
in the system as far
complaint?
as with the complaint, so we can make reference to it later on.
Yeah, you got my name and phone number. You can make reference to that and say, oh yeah, we need to call this guy now because he's right. There is a criminal act going on here. So until then, you don't need it though, right?
I guess then we're done here.
So are you gonna do it?
We offer to take a police report for you, but we need basically identifying information who are complaining parties.
So we both
Do you think I'm not Corey Christopherson? Do you have some reason to believe I'm
Okay,
not?
but
I
there's
have two
probably
witnesses
multiple
here.
different Corey Christophersons in
I
the
have two
system.
witnesses here that say I am. So do you have some reason to believe I'm not?
Yeah.
You don't want to put your date of birth down there?
Again, like, what is data?
So what's
No,
your?
I'm just curious, like,
what do you
what-
think?
So there's a person here who is broken the law.
How?
And you guys are requiring, so superintendent's public schools, Spokane. Right there, it says that RCW on that piece of paper
It
says,
gives no context to what's going on, so tell me what's going on.
I'm telling you that right now. You're welcome for telling me, thanks for
On the
telling
other
me.
hand, like, you.
The RCW right there explains that he has to have, before taking office, before doing any of the duties of his office, that he has to have a bond, and he has to file an oath of office to the Constitution. He has to have that filed before he does any of the job. That's what it says right on the RCW. So we found out through an email that is stapled to that from Spokane Public Schools for public records request for his oath of office, that they said, oh, he doesn't have it, he's not required. But the RCW says he is. So when it even tells where it's supposed to be filed. So yesterday we went up there and we found out that yes, we were correct, it doesn't have one filed where it's supposed to by law. So now we're coming in here saying this guy is impersonating a public official because he has not fulfilled the duties to be a public official by law. So we want him held accountable because he's trying to force our kids against their will to wear masks in school and all this, abusing our kids. So if he's doing that and he's asking the superintendent, then he should have to prove that he's the superintendent. And so far he hasn't because he hasn't filed his oath of office. So all the evidence is right there. You have my name and my phone number. You can investigate it. If you need to call me as a witness, you have my contact information. I mean, when you guys pull over a speeder, because the state of Washington, that's the victim, do they have a date of birth, right? If I'm speeding down the road and you give me a speeding ticket, because the state of Washington has a date of birth.
It's just kind of like the first thing. It's like, okay,
Yeah, but I'm not the victim. You're saying that as a victim, I'm required to give my date of birth. Does the state of Washington have a date of birth? Because these RCWs, it's actually the state of Washington that says the victim, right? So it's an RCW, yes, the state of Washington. It's like speeding, the state of Washington is the victim, right? So it doesn't have a date of birth. So you can't require one for me if you're not going to require one from the state of Washington.
I don't know. So how does the date of birth prove that? You look up my date of birth.
Look, we just settled it right here. The state of Washington, when you guys do a speeding ticket, that's the victim of the crime, right? The state of Washington, they don't have a date of birth. You can't demand a date of birth from the state of Washington as a victim of the crime of speeding. So how can you do it from me?
you would state the witness forms.
Well, just because you have it on a form doesn't mean it's a law, but we have to give it. Like, here's an
witness form.
And you making the complaint as far as with the allegation of the crime and all that? Okay, all right. So,
And you can take it with you.
if you want to return that,
Well, I'm just curious, like, why is it like my birthday?
well, if it's that big a deal with you,
Well, I want a definite answer because.
well, because
I
that's,
can't run it.
because you'll be listed in the system as far as on this such and such a date, you made a report. But they're not going to put a name without a date of birth in that system as a complaining party, because that's all the NCIC
The
rules.
state of Washington is the complaining party.
Because the state of Washington is not a person.
Exactly, but you can't put a state, like, I'm not a person, I'm a man, I'm a living man, I'm an individual, I'm not a person, I'm not a corporation, you know that term, right? So that's what I'm saying, when I'm here as an individual saying I'm being harmed by this other individual who's claiming authority over my kid's life when they go inside the public school building. So I'm
What do you get to the school?
What's that?
What do you get to the school?
Victim witness information.
What does that say?
Well, you said being harmed in our jurisdiction.
Every single school district in the state of Washington has a
So you're making-
that their kids are being forced to wear, except for Kettle Falls now and Richmond, right? Those are the only two ones now that they aren't forcing them against their will to wear masks. So it doesn't matter where I'm at.
So your
I'm,
kids,
I'm presenting a crime here in your jurisdiction.
on behalf of everybody in the state of Washington, or
I
specifically?
just said I was the victim, dude. Why are you trying to make things up?
So
Just make a criminal complaint about it.
you're the victim of what crime?
Fraud. Fraud. He's fraudulently in office, right? He hasn't fulfilled his duties by fulfilling the RCW. So he's defrauded you, he's defrauded you, he's defrauded everybody in here. Everybody in the entire state, he's defrauded. We're all victims.
I don't know, if there's a law that says it's not important that he needs to take an oath, like you guys take oaths, right? And it's the Constitution, and it's also the state and federal Constitution, right? All oaths are ceased. So if you have someone in office that doesn't actually think it's important enough to do it and file it, and then believe in it, it makes it, you know, the credibility of that person is, you know,
Here's the other thing, as far as a witness to a crime, which I'm just being a witness to this crime, right? So when you're a witness to a crime, I know from when you guys investigated when David Rankin was shot by one of your officers, there were some witnesses, the ones that called 911 across the street. They didn't give their date of birth, but they still got to make statements and all that. They still got to make statements, but they didn't give their date of birth. I watched the body cam. So now you're telling me I have to give my date of birth and make statements. Okay, to set the record straight on this issue, here's an incident report from a previous public records request I've done. Now you'll see this isn't from the David Novak incident that I mentioned and I'll continue to talk about in the video, but this incident report serves the same purpose. It was made almost a year ago, and the person who called had the phone number of 208-691-1338. Now you can see down at the bottom I've highlighted the person with this phone number, which in this situation has the same role as I do trying to report this crime. And as you can see, there is no date of birth listed. So you tell me, is this somehow required information and the system will reject my information without a date of birth? It seems pretty clear from this evidence that it will be accepted without a date of birth. So why the misinformation from this corporate policy enforcer?
I'm not gonna force you.
Well, but you certainly tried to get in, didn't you? So now you're backtracking like I don't have to do it. Like, so it wasn't.
Well, you're the one asking for our help, so.
So you came in strong-arming me when I'm asking you for help, dude. You told me I did my date of birth, dude.
Because it's gonna make it difficult to put in our system without it.
So you wouldn't know back, according to the data investigation, they didn't meet it, and they still
Okay,
got put into the system.
since you're not making the report, I'd like you to go outside.
Who said I wasn't making
Okay,
the report?
please exit the building.
Why?
Because I'm asking you to.
What if
We're not gonna do this here. Please exit the
What
building.
if I could have done that?
Well, he's gonna trespass here in a second. I'm asking you to exit the building.
So what's a trespass?
Please leave the building.
You put your hands on me?
Yes, I am.
Okay, look at this. We got this.
Okay,
What's
please-
your name? Hartman?
Sergeant Hartman.
Sergeant Hartman's putting his hands on me, separating me from my son
Yep.
in here.
You can come outside if you'd like him to.
Don't put your hands on my son,
Please
Hartman.
exit the building.
What did I do that was wrong? What law did I break that was wrong?
Watch your step.
Yeah. You didn't put your hands on me now, concerned about my safety. You got a gun. What law did I break? What law did I break? What law did I break?
Now that I've been thrown out for allegedly not wanting to make a complaint or a witness statement when I never said such a thing, nor did I indicate it, here is a review of them telling me I couldn't make that statement because I wouldn't give them my date of birth.
I'll do what I can, but he doesn't want to give his date of birth, so.
Okay, well, it's not gonna hard to get a police report from you if you don't provide us information. I guess then we're done here. Because you'll be listed in the system as far as on this such and such a date, you made a report. But they're not gonna put a name without a date of birth in that system as a complaining party, because that's all the NCIC rules. Since you're not making the report, I'd like you to go outside.
Who said I wasn't making
Okay,
the report?
please exit the building.
Get my son out here! Get my son out here! Get my son out here! You can't keep him in there! Get my son out there! Don't shut this door! Get my son out here! You just kidnapped my son! Get him out here! I can't see through here! Get my son! He's disabled! He can't speak for himself! That's false imprisonment! That's kidnapping! That's kidnapping! That's kidnapping.
No, he was okay staying inside.
No, it's not. That man forced me away from my son and closed this door that I can't see through. That is kidnapping. Arrest that man. He had no cause to do that. It was completely unlawful. Arrest him now. Arrest him now. Arrest him. He just assaulted me. It's on camera. He assaulted me. It's on those cameras too.
Step away. Oh, are you okay? Dude?
Yeah, now you're concerned about him, aren't you, asshole?
Step away, sir.
Fuck you.
Now we have Sergeant Hartman and his thug associates refusing to take my complaint or witness statement, whatever it is you want to call it. Then using force on me when I have done nothing to anyone, nor was I threatening to. This is called an ego trip. Tyrant Hartman here doesn't like pointed out that he uses his position as a perceived authority figure to intimidate and coerce others into giving him what he wants against their will. So rather than face the music like an adult, he violates the non-aggression principle and embraces the concept that might equals right, that this society based around a centralized power structure operates under. Because of his thoughtless and unethical actions, I have now started compiling a list of federal and state violations of my freedom, property, and personal security. For you guys, this means more content as I file complaints and go after his bond and make sure his oath is filed as well. Instead of solving issues, it seems like the ruling class is hell-bent on ruling over us, and apparently keeping my channel full of content for the foreseeable future. What are some of the possible crimes you saw take place here? Let me know with a comment. Thank you again for supporting my channel. Just by watching my content, you are supporting my work. However, if you want to support me in other ways, sign up on censorship-fighting YouTube alternatives like LBRY, which uses Odyssey for its video platform, or Hive. Use the links in the description to earn yourself some decentralized crypto for getting started. There are non-cryptocurrency platforms as well, but you might as well get something of value in return for your support of your favorite content creators. Links to all of the platforms you can find Questionable Authority on are in the description. And don't forget to check out the Questionable Authority merchandise store.